From VTV Channel 6 Studios in downtown Vernal, this is Local Point with your host, Chris Piner.
Welcome to Local Point, sponsored by Ashley Regional Medical Center. Utah has 130% average snowpack total for the season. If we get a quick runoff, there's a potential for flooding to occur. Michelle Dana joins us in the studio with Commissioner Michael McKee to help us know how to be prepared if flooding were to happen in the basin. This is a very worthwhile show. I'm glad to have both of you here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this. Based on our geography, maybe this is a good question for you, Commissioner. This is a reality or something that does occur from time to time in our area.
It does, and of course flooding a lot has to do with snowpack and then again the weather and you know how quick it warms up and whether it's a long, cool early spring or is it something that comes on us real fast and you get a lot of hot weather early. So
and that's the main thing, right? If it melts fast,
right.
We have a lot of it and it melts fast, we're at risk.
Right. Last year we actually had a little below normal, and yet particularly over on the west side of the county we had some huge flooding that happened for just a few days. Other years you can have a lot more snowpack, and if it stays cool and it just draws out slow, you may not get flooding. But generally the more snowpack you have, the higher risk we have for flooding. And of course this year we have a pretty good snowpack up there.
And so based on history and what we've seen happen in this area, it's a reality. We want to prepare.
Absolutely.
Now,
and that's what we're doing.
So I mentioned off camera, I moved here in 1983, and I remember all of the flooding happening and people filling sandbags and everything. Where I lived, we weren't too much in danger, but I saw the streets. It was all over. That's been quite a while ago, but you reminded me that just recently we had potentially another.
Yeah, we've every few years we have different years when there's some strong flooding. 1983 was a very strong year, and the locals and the people that are involved with this, they will always point back to 1983.
Right.
That was a strong year. There's been other years along the way. 2005, we had about 200% snowpack up on the mountains, and we had you know, some real strong CFS, a lot of water in the creek. But we'd done a lot of early preparation, and we crested. We were just ahead of it all the time, and a lot of credit to our road department, because I'll tell you they did a great job in our emergency management group, the sandbagging, cooperation with the Ute tribe, just everybody working together, and really we didn't have any severe damage. We had a bridge that was damaged, but we were able to stay ahead of it.
And that's kind of where I wanted to go, that because we didn't see all of the things that we saw in '83 doesn't mean that's largely due to the preparation. So you're doing a lot of work all the time that people may not see or be aware of, and I know you're not looking for that, but I'm grateful. So
well,
it's pretty cool.
And you know, let's give our road department a lot of credit.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, they know how to work with the creek. Let me just give an example. When you get these huge floods and this amount of water, there's so much force and energy in that water as it comes just rushing through, and it can change and alter the channels so quickly and so fast. A tree comes down, all these different things. The road department in preparation, getting our 404 permits and everything we have to do to get in the creek, but they have learned that if we get riprap and we get that underneath these large boulders and we get underneath the stream bed,
they can control it,
and we can hold it, and we can hold those banks, and particularly these hot spots that we can shore up against the flooding and try to manage where that water goes. And everybody working together, you know, we've been fairly successful.
And that's brilliant. I would have never even thought of anything like that, or that kind of thing has been going on. Michelle, we've visited before here on this program as far as emergency preparedness goes, and I know that that's really your job, and you work with the, clarify that for me again, with the CERT program, or they're under you or with you or beside you, or they are you?
I make sure that those volunteer programs keep going, and
and
make sure that people have the opportunity to volunteer. But yeah, so that's how CERT relates to me.
All right. Do we have a large base of volunteers in our area for this kind of thing?
We do, especially since 2008. We've had some really large interest. Yeah. I
want to talk a little bit more with you about the kinds of things that we can do, the people that are, you know, just general citizens. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and this year, if things should happen that way, and see what we can do to prevent it again after this brief message from Ashley Regional Medical Center. We'll find out more about precautions for flooding.
Ashley Regional Medical Center now offers neonatal services and a Level 2 nursery, along with our quality obstetrical services. The Level 2 nursery provides state-of-the-art monitoring and clinical care for infants at 32 weeks and older. The team of skilled nurses, pediatricians, and family practice physicians, along with Medical Director Dr. Daniel Kwok, neonatologist, help Ashley Regional Medical Center offer your infant excellent care right here at home.
Welcome back. Thanks again for joining us. We're talking about snowpack totals and what to do so you can be prepared for a flood. And we had a very educational first half, talking to, at least for me, about the possibilities of flood and our current situation here in the basin. Michelle, should something happen, what do we do?
Well, first of all, we want citizens to kind of do their part to be ready.
So even should something not happen, we want to be prepared.
Right. Yeah, there's general preparedness actions.
Whatever
but
happens.
Yeah, there are general preparedness actions, you know, just having a family emergency plan, getting your kit of supplies, just thinking about things ahead of time.
Okay. Can you give me an idea of what that might be? What might just a general family plan be?
You want to talk about how you'd get together again if you were separated during an emergency. You want to talk about how you'd talk to each other.
How might you say that? In your family, what do you say?
In our family, we have a couple of gathering spots that we've picked around town that we know that we would go to if we were separated.
Okay.
So that's just the beginning
Something
of our plan.
identifiable, but doing that ahead of time.
Right.
That's good. And then the kit, what might that be?
A kit would be 72 hours worth of water, some food, change of clothing. That's just, you know, medical supplies, your medications if you're on medication.
Okay. So being prepared for 72 hours, should you be
to
cut
take care
off
of yourself.
from everything? What would
Right.
you do?
Right, to take care of yourself.
What's the best way for a family to put water aside, for example?
There's a number of ways that you can do it. There are commercially available containers that you can get and fill with water, keep in your home. You can just fill old pop bottles with water.
You could.
Old containers, so as long as they held food beforehand, you know.
Okay, so yeah, you don't want to put it in the gas can in the garage. I got that. But what about, like, I hear about a little bit of Clorox or something like that in there? Or do you want to do that kind of thing, or just can you fill it up in the tap?
There are instructions online and, you know, different places that, you know, tells you exactly what to put in it.
Okay,
right?
so search it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so those are some basic things we could do just to take care of our family. What else?
Right now, we're asking people to kind of take a look at the situation around their homes. Make sure that there isn't debris in ditches or culverts. Just, you know,
clear it out.
Right. Make sure that debris is
so
cleared.
So the water can flow where it's supposed to.
Right.
All right, so in the event that we do see some flooding, then what? I mean, are there things that we talk about sandbagging and that kind of thing?
Citizens, if they're seeing
that kind of thing?
if people are seeing problems around their home and they're worried about their home being threatened, or business, or, you know, just the places that they live and work, they can call the county. They can call the Office of Emergency Management to get hold of sandbags and possibly sand too.
Safety is an important issue there. We need to make sure that if we get high flows, that everybody's being very careful, safe, making, you know, it's just common sense, but stay away from those areas that are going to be hazardous.
All right.
We've got to be very safe about it.
We tend to want to band together in times like this, don't we? See, so many people want to come out and help. So even if it's not in your area, say I want to go help somebody else. Same thing, call the
and you know, sandbagging, you know, there's a good sandbagging party that goes on every once in a while, so get in and help everybody sandbag, you know.
Take it, you know, make sure that you're taking a look at your neighbors and making sure that they, especially people that maybe can't take care of those things themselves, that they're taken care of. So keep an eye on your neighborhood too.
That's great. Well, that all makes a lot of sense to me. Now, we don't want a flood of calls to the wrong place, right? Tell me about that.
Probably the easiest way to get hold of sandbags would be to call the Office of Emergency Management at 781-5466.
All right, and this is what we were referring to, right? Not calling 911, but
Right.
Right. Okay, so, well, we hope then that none of this happens, but we're grateful that, that people like you are meeting and planning and preparing. Be prepared, an ounce of prevention, right?
We've got a lot of good people in the community, and the community all working together, and as we identify these hot spots and as we work together, we've got a great road department that's doing an outstanding job, and as we're prepared, then we'll be okay.
Well, hats off to the road department. You've mentioned them several times. They must be really doing a great job.
They do an
they
outstanding
do.
job here.
Well, you all
and to
are.
Michelle, we appreciate Michelle and our emergency management folks.
Well, we
And our
appreciate
CERT
all
team,
of you.
our
Thank
CERT
you.
team as well.
And they're great. We've had them on here
Yeah.
before, and we thank you also for joining us. We hope to see you again right here on the next edition of Local Point.